there will be a replay, and I'll show you exactly where to go and get the replay so you could watch this entire workshop back, and you can follow along with the exercise. So this is the future proofing your careers workshop, and I think the timing of this workshop is probably perfect timing right now. There's a lot of conversation around all of this amazing advancements, right? From AI to robotics to automate, you name it. There's so much advancement that's happening right now. And I think we're all starting to see that. But as much as all this advancement is happening right now, the knock-on effect is a lot of these functions that we have in a lot of our jobs are going to disappear, right? A lot of jobs that we have right now are going to disappear. But it's not to say that it's the end of the world of doom and gloom. Right now, what we need to be really focusing on is what are the new jobs that are coming out over the next couple of years? And if we are those people who are in careers that are projected to be on the way out, or again, a lot of the roles and functions are now being done by AI or a variety of different tools that are going to reduce the need for X amount of people, doing a particular task within a field, we got to upskill. We got to pivot, right? But what do we pivot to? And this is where, to me, the most important conversation is. And I feel like we're not having it. So rather than wait to have it, why not do something where, again, we can kind of get an idea as to what is going on and come up with a plan for ourselves? Because if we're waiting for people, if we're waiting for institutions, if we're waiting for governments to come out and guide us, who knows when that's going to be? And I believe in taking front. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing tonight. So I thank each and every single one of you for joining us today. This is not my typical workshop. This is going to be there's going to be almost next to no slides. This is going to be a straight, you're going to work alongside me, all right? You're going to be watching me. I'm going to be giving you the resources, giving you the prompts, and today is going to be a straight up work session. All right, it's a guided work session. The goal is we need to know exactly what field we should be getting into by the end of this workshop, and also have a curated plan specific to our needs and our situation in terms of upskilling and attaining those skills, right? Rather than waiting years down the line for things to be disrupted or argue back and forth about, whether or not, you should be changing fields, I think it's better to take front and you have an idea as to where you need to be going, and then you're able to pull the trigger when you are ready. So if this is your first workshop with me, let me know in the chat. Just drop a first. If this is your first workshop with me, I'm seeing a lot of new names that I haven't seen before. So welcome. This is the beautiful side of the internet where you come into these spaces and you actually learn, and we get to be productive, and we do some pretty cool things. So thank you for joining us if this is your first time here. But guess what? If this is not your first time here and you stay jumping into workshops when you see my name attached to it, let me know in the chat as well. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to all of the people who are coming back. This is not your first rodeo with me. So just let me know in the chat. If this is not your first workshop with me, just drop that in the chat. And I'm also interested to hear from you. When we think about the future of jobs, when we think about our future careers, let me know in the chat. How are you feeling? Be honest. This is a safe space. I think we can be honest with ourselves. If you are feeling anxious, if you are feeling confused, let us know in the chat. And I think people need to understand that we are not alone. So many of us, I think we are suffering in silence because there isn't many spaces to even go to air your concerns or to get the assistance that you are looking for. And I'm seeing over the past, I'd say 2 years, I've been doing a lot more school talks and school appearances and whatnot. It was in person, but now it's a lot more virtual conversations. So I know we're having these conversations in school. I know how a lot of teachers are feeling, and I know what a lot of students are saying. So again, this is timely. But I just want to know from you, how are you feeling? So let me look at the chat and see what is going on. So I'm seeing scared for my children as you, and you know what? This is why you're in the workshop. We are scared. We need direction. I'm seeing Ashley says nervous and curious. Ooh, curious. I love it. And I think as long as everybody approaches the future with curiosity, I think that's always the healthiest way rather than, kind of being scared about change. Change is constant. It's never going to stop. But approaching it with curiosity, you're always going to be wanting to learn what is next, and that kind of just keeps your finger on the pulse and to change with the times. Chad says unsure. Daniel says uncertain. KJ says uncertain, nervous, confused, hopeless. Khadijah says definitely confused. Holding pattern anxiety. Derek says all of the above. Grace says, this is not my first rodeo. I actually shared it with my grandson who is about to go to college and not sure what to do. You see, and I'm so glad, Grace, you said that, because this is exactly why we're doing this workshop. Because we have so many people right now who are, they're in they're in the later stages of Form 5, going Form 6, or sorry, Form 5, Form 6, forgive me. I didn't go to school in the Caribbean, so I'm still standards, forms, that's all different for me. I know grade 1 to grade 12, kindergarten and preschool. Anyways, but I'm glad she said that because there's so many people that are in that position where you have kids that are in Form 5, Form 6, and I don't think we're teaching anything that people in the forums are going to learn, and when they come out of school be able to apply, because the world is going to change, right? I don't think we're teaching them anything outside of the basics, like the fundamentals, but I don't think we're teaching them anything that is going to lead to a successful career right now, like especially for like if you're in the forums. The really interesting demographic to me is the people who are in university right now. And also, like if you're in university, like you just came out of Form 6 or Form 5 and you're in university, or you're somebody who is, you're already in your career and you're going back to do your master's, you're going back to do your PhD, and you're spending this time, you're spending money, you are investing in your education because you're investing for your future. But what happens when you are somebody that's within those spaces that are in the first the first like let's just say if you're studying in the places where your particular career path is going to be one of the first to be heavily disrupted, right? And like let's just say if you're doing, I don't know, business management, right? Mid-level managers are on the chopping block. Mid management is not where you want to be, right? We see companies downsizing, especially in middle management. So if I'm somebody doing a business administration degree, I'm now looking at saying, okay, if we're downsizing in management, you know, what does my pivot look like? Like you need to know, am I studying in a particular space that's on the way out? Or am I studying in a particular space that's going to be, altered and altered drastically? And I think everybody's industry is going to be altered drastically. But then what does that pivot look like? And again, I think as long as you're approaching it with that mindset, which is also why you're in this workshop today, I think you're going to be okay. So just looking at a couple more messages, I'm seeing not knowing what direction or steps to take. There's anxiety, don't want to be left behind. I'd like to pivot from being a librarian. And yeah, so those are just some of the comments that people have had, right? So let's get this show on the way. So if you are to do this workshop, it would be best recommended. Now you can do it from your phone, right? You could do it from the phone, but there's one step that's going to be a bit more tedious if you're doing it from your phone, right? I'd rather you do this from your laptop. So if you are somebody who is doing this, or if you've logged in from your phone, sure you could listen along, right? And again, the replay is going to be posted, so you could always go back into the replay and watch it. You can do this from your phone. Like I said, the first steps are a little bit more tedious, but it can be done on your phone because I've done it Everything that I'm showing you today, I've done it from my phone as well. It's a lot easier to do it from your computer. So without further ado, let's get the workshop started. And if you are sticking around until the end, the last 15 minutes of the workshop, we have a special guest coming in, a guy by the name of Jarrod Bess Mitchell, a LinkedIn and sales trainer. And Jarrod is going to be coming in because the most important social media platform for every single person right now that they need to understand and wrap their mind around and build a presence on is LinkedIn. 99% of every penny I've made in the last 10 years has come from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a place where all of the decision makers are. LinkedIn is a place where you can connect to anybody in any industry in any particular career path. You can connect to them on LinkedIn, right? And it's the platform that you have to understand. It's a platform that you have to prepare for and build on, because this is where you're going to be getting the job opportunities. The days of you just getting a resume and you applying online, those days are also slowly fading away. There are new ways to get jobs. And again, Jarrod is coming in. We're going to talk about that for a little bit, and then he's also going to be he's also going to highlight, LinkedIn, why you need to be on LinkedIn, and some of the things that you need to be doing on LinkedIn as well to help you land these jobs. Okay, so that's going to be he's going to be coming in at closer to the end. All right, so if you are ready, I am ready. Let me know in the chat. Are you ready? Do you have your keyboard? Are you by your computer? Do you have your beverages? Do you have your water? If you have everything in place and you're ready to start, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let me get my stuff set up and let's get this show on the road, okay? So to start, I'm dropping a link in the chat. Okay. I just dropped the link in the chat. I need everybody to open it up. Again, I hope that you can do this from your computer. It would make life a lot easier for you. Open up that link I just dropped. Okay. The next thing that you are going to need for this workshop, you are going to need ChatGPT, but that is okay. We can do this on the free version of ChatGPT, right? Everybody can do this on the free version of ChatGPT. And if you're logged in on your phone, you can do this on the mobile version of ChatGPT. Again, I've done it. I do similar things like this on my phone all the time with ChatGPT, so it can be done on your phone. Like I said, it's just a little bit more tedious. But anyways, click on that link. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you have it open, and let me know if you have ChatGPT open. I want everybody to ensure that they are set up. Open the link. Let me know. Do you have the link? Do you have ChatGPT open? All right. Let me know in the chat. Let me know if it's open. All right. Giving everybody 30 seconds. I'm dropping the link one more time. Dropping the link one more time. The link is in the chat. Link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. All right, lovely. So you need to have the website open and you need to have ChatGPT open. Again, you can do this from your phone, but it's going to be a bit more tedious, but it can be done. Just in case you don't have a laptop or whatever, there is no excuse. We can do this on our mobile devices. All right, so let us start. Beautiful. Okay, so feeling stuck. This is the tool to help you find your next career path. And this entire workshop, again, this is to raise the alarm, right? Because again, I feel like we need to be having these conversations, but I'm somebody that wants to prepare you to ensure that you are not caught, slacking. But I also want to show you, right? I'm going to show you one comment, and I want to show it to you simply because I need people to understand just where you need to be. Now, I did my segment today on CNC3. Many of you might have saw it because you're actually here because you saw the interview with Jason Williams on CNC3 today, where we're talking about this exact topic, right? Many of us are feeling, we've expressed that we feel anxious, we don't know what to do. We are seeing the changes happening in real time. Now, this is one of my good friends, Judy McCutcheon. I love her. Shout outs to Judy, right? But I'm highlighting this comment for one reason. Judy said today that while that may be true for first world countries, we still have a way to go before any of these jobs become obsolete in our region. I'm not saying you are wrong. I'm saying that there's still time for us to get it together. Don't frighten the students. Now, I'm highlighting that comment, right? Because the thing with that comment is that's what a lot of people feel. A lot of people will still, they still feel like the globalization is not going to impact the region, or it's going to take so much longer for these impacts to happen. But we are already seeing the impacts of these changes already, right? We also have people getting laid off left and right across Trinidad and Tobago, right? Across in Jamaica. We have people who are getting laid off. If you are somebody who has gotten laid off, or your company's kind of shaky and it's looking like you're going to get laid off, then you need to be preparing now. Think about how much time and money we invest in our education, right? If you are somebody who is in university right now, if you are somebody taking your master's or PhD right now, and you are doing it in fields that could be gone within the next couple of years, I don't know about you, but to me, I would want to know now so I know how to pivot, because it's not your degree is not going to finish in 6 months. No, your degree is going to take years, right? By the time your degree program is finished, everything is going to have changed. Look how much has changed just this year, right? So I don't believe in waiting until, we are quote unquote ready. I don't even know what that looks like, right? I believe everybody should take their own personal responsibility and take front. Don't wait for the government to come and tell you what to do. No, be the person who is a few steps ahead of the Caribbean, who is then going to pivot, learn the necessary skills so that when the change actually does happen, you are somebody who already has the skill set and you have some experience in the portfolio. Heck, you might even land a job a lot sooner than most people, and this is no longer going to be even a conversation for you, right? But I do believe that you should learn and pivot earlier rather than waiting for people to signal that, hey, the change has already happened. And Maria just said that is the fallacy, that the region is so far behind with the changes made by the AI revolution is not even funny. Yeah. All right. So what are we going to do? So with the workshop, all right, let me paint the picture. So we are living through the biggest workforce shift since the Industrial Revolution, but no one gave us the roadmap. And people are stuck, as we know, stuck in jobs that they've outgrown, stuck in industries that are shrinking or automating, or stuck trying to make sense of where the world is going while still paying bills in a world that's already changed. And across the Caribbean, thousands of students are enrolling in degree programs that are outdated before they even graduate. Mid-career professionals are questioning if their experience still matters. And for many, if their job title they've held for 10, 15, even 20 years has become a core part of their identity, making it feel almost impossible to pivot. And again, we see that all the time. And that's why we have to keep on reminding people, you are not your job. You are not your job. Some people, their identities have now become their jobs. That is keeping them stuck in these roles because to them, that is who they are. I am Keron Rose, the security guard, and that is just who I am. And that's a very dangerous place to be in a time period where you have no control over how fast change is happening. This isn't 20, 30 years ago where you could be a security guard for 20, 30 years and everything be cool. No, things are changing. Heck, in China, they've already rolled out robotic crossing guards, robotic security guards. We're seeing robots in boxing matches fighting. Like things are happening, right? Things are happening. So, anyways, with the jobs, and I'm pulling this directly from the World Economic Forum, right? This is coming from the World Economic Forum, right? 92 million jobs are expected to disappear globally by 2028. But at the same time, 170 million new roles will be created in many industries that didn't exist just a few years ago. I think people forget that ChatGPT is only 2 years old. And look what it's done in 2 years. And this is the worst it's ever going to be. It's only getting better. And we see how fast all of these tools are getting better, right? So these jobs aren't just tech bro jobs. They include AI trainers, prompt engineers, machine learning ops, cybersecurity, sustainability consultants, digital product managers, UX designers, content strategists, virtual customer experience leads, clean energy project coordinators, and remote education specialists. And there's so many more. And the skills needed to fill these roles are rapidly evolving. In fact, and this is one of the most alarming statistics, 44% of all workers' core skills will change by 2028. And yet, in most Caribbean nations, we're still treating education and workforce development like it's 2005. We still think, like my good friend Judy, with respects to it's not going to happen in the Caribbean just yet. So we shouldn't raise the alarm. When in fact, we should be raising the alarm now because there are new jobs that are coming out. There are things that people could be learning to do right now and move into a different career path right now. Everything I do today, half of that didn't exist 2 years ago, right? Half of that didn't exist 2 years ago. We still have people using ChatGPT like they use Google. They're just jumping into ChatGPT and asking questions, right? We're not even leveraging what these tools can actually do because we have also been conditioned for so many years to just be tech averse and not to trust the technology, not to trust the government, not to trust the institutions, that we are now been conditioned that once we hear technology, once we hear something is coming out, once we hear change, we already push it to the back burner. We believe that somehow globalization isn't going to impact our small island developing nations, that is the Caribbean. When in fact, we know that that's not the case at all, right? So employers, and this is pulled from the World Economic Forum, but also in the Coursera Job Skills Report 2025. So employers around the world are shifting to skills first hiring, which is massive. We've seen a lot of notable companies over the years dropping degree requirements and focusing more on skill sets like IBM, Microsoft, Apple, you name it. All the tech companies, for the most part, have been starting to drop degree requirements and focusing on skills. And again, this is change that's being seen widespread across multiple industries. So what matters now is what you can do, not what is written on your degree. Why? Because many folks are going into degree programs and they're coming out with the paperwork, but they've left the skill in university. Right? And right now, in the day and age and time that we are in, most of the jobs that are coming out are skills-based jobs. But again, different types of skill sets, right? According to a Coursera Job Skills Report, the most valuable workers in the next decade will be those who possess analytical and creative thinking. Now, take a pause, take a pin. When we look around online on social media and we look within the Caribbean community and context, when you look at the conversations that are happening, let's take an example. Go look at the comments under media houses posts. Does that look like we are doing analytical thinking? Does that look like creative thinking is our specialty? When you look online, be honest, jump in the comments. When you look online, does it look like people are exercising analytical and creative thinking? Just based on what you see from people or conversations, whether it's in person or online. Right? Look at the comments, right? Nope, hell no, Lord. Oh, Rhonda says not a not a cogent. Oh man, not a cogent argument to be found. Hell no, nope. Chat GPT blob. Yep, I'm always amazed. I'm always amazed too, right? And this is going to be one of the most sought after skills. And I keep on thinking to myself, people can't even determine that Keron Rose is different from other people. People actually think that me and Jarrod Best Mitchell are the same person, which is insane. when I see these things, I'm not even worried about me. I'm more worried about, what exactly is happening with people's analytical skills that we can't determine. Two people who don't look anything alike, we can't tell them apart, which is crazy. Digital fluency across tools and platforms is another major skill being sought after. The ability to work, oh my goodness, the ability to work in remote first AI powered environments is a skill that companies are seeking. And let me highlight this for a second, right? There's a lot of comments when I talk about Caribbean folks needing to learn how to work from anywhere. They need to learn how to be digital nomads, right? And I see a lot of comments. I get a lot of feedback coming in and saying, oh, that's a single man's game. You are talking from a single man's perspective. And I keep on trying to tell people that we live in a world where jobs are increasingly becoming remote first. If I go and find a partner right now, and chances are she probably has a remote job. If we go and have children together, those kids are going to have two parents that are remote workers. We are seeing more and more families, mom and dad are remote workers. And because they are remote workers, they have full time jobs, they just work remotely. Because we're seeing more people with remote first jobs, that means they have more options, which is why every single digital nomad visa in over 66 countries, there are 66 countries with digital nomad visas right now and growing. Every single one of these digital nomad visas, they have provisions for your family. You can bring your spouse on that one visa. You can bring your dependents on that one visa. My Thailand 5-year visa, I could bring a spouse. I could bring all my kids on that one visa. So countries are making more provisions to make it easier for you to migrate. This is not the US, Canada, the UK that make you jump through, a ring of fire and perform a ritual with dancing elephants and every single thing that you can do. All right. Hold on. Someone just asked for the link. Let me drop that. There we go. Drop the link again. Right. So we have more people who are getting jobs that are increasingly remote first. And because they are getting jobs that are increasingly remote first, more families are now, by and large, digital nomads because they can work from anywhere. And now that countries are opening up their borders and saying, hey, we have these digital nomad visas, we want remote workers, because if you come to our country with your currency earning in higher dollars, not only do you get a better quality of life, but that money is now a cash injection into our GDP, which is why 66 countries have rolled out digital nomad visas, and it's increasing. And I believe in the next couple of years, I believe over 75% of countries worldwide would have a digital nomad visa because it just makes sense. These people do not take away local jobs. All they do is come to your country with their money. They don't take away any local jobs, and they spend all that money within your economy. Right? And as more people are getting jobs, and again, look at what we just said, right? If 170 million new jobs are going to be creating, replacing 92 million jobs, the vast majority of all these jobs are remote first. We just saw, and I don't know if you saw it, but we just saw the first remote surgery just happen a couple of weeks ago, where a doctor who was in Italy performed remote surgery on a client in China. And look, Italian doctor, Chinese technology, and the remote surgery happened in China. Now you could have a surgeon who doesn't even need to be in the same country as you perform remote surgeries, and we're not sounding the alarm. We still think that the future is way off. No, you need to be preparing now, right? Self-direction and resilience during transitions. Whoo, child, that needs to have an asterisk, right? So for everybody that said anxious, they're feeling it, right? Look at the skill set that you're going to need. You're going to need self-direction and resilience during transition. When I was 19 and I was working at my first corporate job was at a company called TELUS, right? The internal company mantra was embrace change. Anything, and because we were in the technology space, change was happening so fast. And I mean, it was snail's pace in comparison to now, But even back then, when things were changing, and you'd come into the shift and you're seeing, oh my God, all of the merchandising has changed, new lineup of phones, and you're like, oh my God, I just memorized every single spec and thing about the phones you just removed from the lineup. Why are we removing these phones from the lineup? I remember my manager. Shout outs to Kevin Rempel. If he, I don't know where he is now, but and I'll never forget him, Kevin Rempel. I'll never forget. I remember I came in one day and I was like, bro, everything has changed. What is going on? Now we have more things to learn. And I remember he just brought me into the back and he pointed to the back wall and he was like, what does that say? And he made me read the motto. And the motto was embrace change. And I read it. And he was like, so that's all you can do. Embrace the change. Things are always going to change. Come in, see what has changed, and get ahead of everybody else, because when the change happens, if you are the first person to jump on it, if you're the one that learns all the new phones, all the new plans, and you are a step ahead of everybody else, who's going to make more commission? And I've kept that with me ever since. So I'm not waiting for the government to tell me anything. No, guess what? Self-direction, as you have come to know about me, self-direction, I am guided by my own compass. I am looking at what's happening, what is coming, and I'm planning accordingly. And resilience during transitions. Lord knows, from Canada to Trinidad to now Thailand, you got to build up some resiliency along the way when you're making these major, major transitions, right? So what do? We stop guessing, we stop following old playbooks, and we start designing careers with the future in mind and not the past. So whether you are a student choosing your first degree, a mid-career professional unsure of what to pivot to, or a parent trying to guide your child towards real opportunity, this workshop is going to do a couple of things. By the end of it, we're going to have 5 future-ready careers for your based on your personality, interests, and lifestyle aligned with the new jobs that are coming out. We're going to understand what each of these paths require in time, money, and your learning styles. And then we're going to build a personal upskilling roadmap to make a confident pivot into the future of work. That is what we are about to do, right? So let us start. So what I need you to do right now, right? Oh my goodness, hold on. I see something has, just give me 1 second. I just see it a little, listen, sometimes when you do live work, some things happen. So this is blending into, hold on. I'm just making a quick change. Hold on. Download. Bear with me. I saw an error on the page, and I'm gonna have you guys refresh in 1 second. Download the Coursera jobs report here. You're seeing me doing some work in real time. Okay, just give me 1 second. I saw a mistake on the website. There's 2 files that you're gonna need to download, and they were doubling up on each other. So that's okay. I'm making the adjustment on the fly. Give me 1 second. I got you. I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Bam, 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 bam. All right. So now, hold on. I'm going to need, after this finish saves. All right. If everybody can refresh that page for me, I want everybody to refresh that page for me. Hit refresh. Okay. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Hold on. See, this is what happens sometimes when you're doing live things. So hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. All right. I'm going to try something. Bear with me. Bear with me. There's another report that I'm going to need you to download, and I'm going to give you the link, okay? So first, the first thing we're going to do is when you go onto this page, all right, I need everybody now to download this report, Okay. So the first step, this report from the Future of Jobs report, this is going to be the foundation of the exercise that we're going to be doing today. So I need you to click on download. I need you to download the Future of Jobs report. So click on download. Okay. You're going to download that report. And then I just dropped the link in the chat. That's the next report I need you to download. Okay. So on the replay, I will fix up this page to include both reports. I was just seeing an error on my page where the two files were jumbling up and it's just messing up, being able to download both. So the first one, the first report you're going to download is on the page. You're going to download the Future of Jobs report. Like I said, I will fix this after the workshop. The second report that you need to download is the link I just dropped in the chat. Okay. You need both of these reports to do today's exercise. Okay. So download both. That is step one. Let me know in the chat once you have downloaded both files. Let me know in the chat that you've downloaded both. This is step one. We're downloading the Future of Jobs report from the World Economic Forum. The second thing we're downloading is we're downloading the 2025 Job Skills Report from Coursera. We need both, okay? We need both for this exercise, all right? So again, just repeating the instructions. The first step is you're going to download the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report. That's on the website. The second, I'm dropping the link again. I dropped in the chat, right? That is the Coursera Job Skills Report. Okay, so now once you've downloaded both, just drop in the chat that you've downloaded both. Again, you can do this from your mobile, a little bit more tedious, but it can be done. All right, so drop the link. Check the link for the World Economic Forum report. Someone having an issue? All right, both are downloaded. Both downloaded. Okay, perfect. Let's move on. Okay, so after we've downloaded the report, we are now going to load up ChatGPT. Okay. So load up ChatGPT. Let me bring mine up. All right. So we have ChatGPT loaded. I didn't get to download the first report. Okay, Nyoka, you still have time. Download the first report. It's at the link I provided. And if you don't have that link, this is the link to the first page to download that report. Right. And the link to the second report is here, just dropping it in the chat to make it easy. Okay. So now that you have both reports downloaded, this is what you're going to do. Okay. You are going to, I'm going to download mine. All right. Download. So now I'm going to load the reports. You're going to load both reports into ChatGPT. All right. Load both reports into ChatGPT. The reason why we're doing this is because this has hundreds of pages of research and everything we need to know about the next 5 years or where the industries are going over the next 5 years in terms of skill sets, in terms of career paths. These reports detail what is on the rise, what is on the way out. Okay. So this is where the guided workshop comes into play now. So those are the first two reports. Then we're going to come in here, all right? And we are going to see what's going on. Hold on. So the first prompt, right? The first prompt is going to be what you see here. The second step, provide your info for the prompt. We're going to copy and paste this entire prompt, okay? So I'm going to drop this entire prompt in the chat to make it easy for you as well. All right. Oops, I can't do that because it's too big. All right. So the entire prompt is here on the website. For some reason, it's getting cut off. Hold on. Hold on one second, folks. Hold on one second. 1 second. I'm seeing where there is an error. Download. report here. Jobs. And the funny thing is even when you start off and everything is looking good, you get into the live mode and it's like sometimes things mess up. But again, that's okay. We are working. We're going to work with future of jobs. Future of jobs. Okay, let me just get this. Bam, bam. Make that. Bam, bam. Bear with me. Bear with me. So what I want you to do, right, is just hit refresh on the page. I just want to ensure that the instructions, that the prompt is there and it's not cut off by the report. Again, it was perfectly fine when we started. There we go. Okay, there we go, right? So now this is the full prompt. So you're seeing the full prompt. Refresh, refresh, right? Refresh. And now I want you to copy this entire prompt. So refresh the page. I just fixed the issue where it was getting cut off. Refresh the page. And now I want you to copy this entire prompt. I've laid it out for you to make it nice and easy to do the exercise, okay? And over the next 45 minutes, you're going to be doing this exercise with me. And again, last 15 minutes is going to be Jarrod coming in and talking to us about LinkedIn. So copy this entire prompt, and I'm going to read it out because this is what we're going to be doing. It says, I want you to analyze the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report and the Coursera Job Skills Report 2025 to identify the most in-demand and emerging careers over the next 5 to 10 years. Here's my situation. Jobs are disappearing fast due to AI, automation, and rapid tech advancement. I want to make sure I pivot into a field that is actually growing and not waste my time, money, or energy on a path that's becoming obsolete. I want this to be a guided process. Please, and this is the instructions, right? Please interview me and ask me 30 questions one by one to get to know me deeply. These questions should help you learn about my interests and passions, my lifestyle and goals, flexibility, remote work, travel, kids, age of kids, married, etc. My current skill set, strengths, and weaknesses, what I enjoy doing even outside of work, my educational background and financial flexibility, i.e. short courses versus full degrees. Ask each question one at a time. Wait for my response before continuing to the next. Once all 30 questions are completed, I want you to do the following. Recommend 5 future-ready job titles that would be best suited based on my responses to the reports. Rank the jobs from number 1 to 5, starting with the most ideal fit. For each job, give me a short summary of what the job is, why this role is growing in demand, and why it's a good match for me based on my answers. Give me one bonus tip on how I can begin preparing for the top-ranked role, suggested courses, yada, yada, yada. My goal is to walk away with clarity on what role fits me best and a practical way forward confidently, right? And if I say short courses or short certifications, recommend career paths that match it. If I say I'm open to a full degree or hybrid learning, adjust accordingly, make the guidance fit me. So again, the entire goal is to be based around you. So we're going to interview you right now. We're going to learn everything we can about you and your situation. After that, it's going to now use the base of Coursera and the World Economic Forum to now help us guide us into the direction of which jobs to go after over the next couple of years and how to pivot. And we're doing this because I know y'all ain't going through 1,000 pages of Coursera and the World Economic Forum. I too lazy. I kid. All right. So copy and paste that entire prompt. Follow along with me. We're copying and pasting. Again, you can do this on your mobile. Copy up to this is the end of prompt 1. So go into ChatGPT. You have both reports, right? You got both reports. Paste that. And now I'm going to be doing it alongside with you. So we're going to hit enter, right? It's reading the documents. Again, this workshop, you are doing this along with me. Michelle said, where are we copying the prompt from? Michelle, that is the link I gave you, right? The link I gave you, scroll down where it says second step. Remember, refresh your page because I just made some edits on the fly. So everybody should have refreshed their page. Scroll down to where it says the second step, right? Scroll down to where it says the second step. Matter of fact, I could even add this. Download the Coursera port here. Coursera job skills port. Doing everything on the fly. This is what happens when you're doing things with live data and workshops. Sometimes things get a little messy, but we're fixing on the fly. Okay. Beautiful. So we've refreshed. So now, if you refresh your screen, you have both reports linked there to deal with. So let's see what ChatGPT said. ChatGPT said, perfect. I've reviewed both the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025 and the Coursera Job Skills Report to understand where the job market is headed over the next 5 to 10 years. Now let's begin our one-on-one guided process to discover your best fit future ready career path. I'll ask 30 questions one at a time. And the reason why we're doing 30 questions is because, right? No. Denise, you're following me. Only do what I'm doing. So the only thing I'm doing right now is we uploaded the 2 reports and we've copied the first prompt, right? You're not doing anything else. Follow along with me. You're copying the first prompt. So under the second step, this is the first prompt, and the first prompt ends right here where it says this is the end of the prompt. You're copying all of that up above it, okay? You're pasting that into ChatGPT. So let's begin our one-on-one guided process to discover your best fit, right? Again, we're asking 30 questions because it needs to know as much about you as possible. So now you can go ahead and start to answer the questions, but here's the caveat, right? I need you to give as much information as possible. There is nobody better put in one word answers. Nobody be better be putting in one sentence or 2 sentences. Give as much detail. This workshop should take you 45 minutes to do. Okay? It should take you 45 minutes. This is the workspace. So we're going to answer the 30 questions. So it's going to learn our interests and passions, lifestyle and goals, strengths and weaknesses, educational background, yada, yada, yada. Once we complete it, we'll analyze the responses along the research reports and recommend 5 future-ready careers ranked with guidance for your next step. Let's begin. So question number 1, what are the types of activities or topics that energize you the most, the things you naturally gravitate toward, or even if they don't feel like work? So I am going to be answering this as best as I possibly can so you can see this all happening in real time. But again, I want you to be working alongside with me. You're going to be doing this as well, okay? So the first question, what are the types of activities or topics that energize you the most, the things that you naturally gravitate toward? And feel free, right? This is our community. So if you see things, interact with each other. The chat is there for a reason. Drop things that you are seeing. When you see questions, drop them in the chat. Talk about it. You know, what is intriguing you about some of these questions? Are some of these questions asking things that you haven't even thought about, right? Are some of these questions making you realize, oh, damn, things are really changing and we got to adapt? Nazim says it's interesting that it's the first response was very different for me. Yes, Nazim, and it will be. This is the beauty of AI. Nothing is cookie cutter. And this is why we're doing this workshop the way that we are, because all of you are going to get adaptive answers as you go. It's not going to be the same for any of us. It's going to be different for all of us, which is why I'm saying interact in the chat. If you see things, drop them in the chat because we're all going to be learning from each other, right? So let me answer this one. What activities or topics that energize you the most? The things naturally gravitate toward, even if they don't feel like work. Okay. Of technology. Also, one thing I will say is talk to ChatGPT how you would talk to your best friend, because then it's just going to get to learn you. So when you see me using slang, that's hella interesting. It's because the more of you give it in terms of just how you speak, how you talk, how you do things, it's going to learn you, and the better feedback it's going to be. And it's going to be looking at all of these little nuances to help recommend you the best possible fit, right? Let me look at the chat real quick. Normala says this requires introspection and self-awareness. Absolutely, absolutely. And Jarrod says, correct, Normala. I think this is where persons have a challenge because they might not know these answers, even though it's about themselves. Absolutely. Which is why we're doing 30 questions one by one. Because unless you know yourself, right? Unless this really gets to know you, we have been so accustomed over the years not doing jobs that align with us. We do jobs because they pay well, because you need to survive. And a lot of times it's in jobs or industries that are soul sucking, right? Which is why, and Jarrod, Jarrod could drop a comment on this. I was gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a video soon that talks about why I have never experienced burnout. And I've never experienced burnout since I started my first business, Gadget Geeks, in 2015. So I'm 10 years strong on my own accord right now. And I haven't felt burnout because I'm not performing. I haven't been coming online and performing. I make content around things that I'm interested in. I share with you my world and what I'm doing. So it's easy for me to turn the camera on. It's easy for me to write. It's easy for me to do the work that I do because I've built something around what I like to do, right? And for so long, we are going into careers that they pay well. But now this is the first time in history where you can build businesses or get into careers really based around your interests. Heck, I only wish I was into Pokemon cards because, man, I would have started a Pokemon league in the Caribbean by now. I'm in Asia where there are stores in almost every single mall. Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was in the mall on the weekend and watched a Beyblade. I don't know if you even know what Beyblade is. Beyblade is them spinners where people rip them and you battle people's. I watched an entire Beyblade tournament and I was like, my goodness, there's commentators on this thing, right? But you can build an entire business around that. We could not have done that before. So now we can get into careers that we are really interested in. We can build businesses that we are interested in just because of the times that we are in. So you really have to learn yourself. So let me continue, right? So that's hella interesting to me. And and I am looking forward to deepening my knowledge and an understanding of e-commerce, but from leveraging the strengths of Asia to be able to create products and sell globally. So that's my first response, right? And again, it's going to be different for everybody because your answers are going to be different, right? So let's take a look and see what some of the responses have been. Tashelle says, I'm feeling like I'm in an exam right now. It's hard. Absolutely. It should be. Sade says, I'm getting through, sort of. Okay, no problem. Gabriel says, ChatGPT responds to question number 2. Done with question number 1. And again, remember, you're not waiting on me. You're going through the entire process. So give as much information to each question and you go along ahead, right? I'm doing it as well, but I'm also interacting with you and talking with you as well. So don't wait on me. Continue on question after question, right? Jarrod says, now we live in a world where we can find a job that aligns with us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gabrielle shared a screenshot and she said, this is her response. She said, oof, that's honest, raw, and powerful, and it's exactly what we need to shape your pivot the right way. From this, I'm already hearing you value dignity and independence in your work. You need remote, flexible opportunities. You're ready to step into a more sustainable, empowered chapter of life, and you deeply deserve to never feel trapped in paycheck to paycheck cycles again. That, this is why we're doing this workshop. because of responses like that. Danielle says, no burnout. Is that even a thing? Sincerely, a chronically burnout person. Listen, and you got to be able to take the big adjustment. That's part of why I'm in Asia. With my cost of living, my fixed expenses in Asia, right? My fixed expenses in Asia, I spend less than 850 US a month between rent, electricity, internet, smartphone bill. And that allows me now, because my fixed expenses are so low, that allows me now to whatever I want to spend on in terms of food, I can be as cheap as I want or as expensive as I want, right? It just gives you more flexibility. So now that I don't need to earn as much money, I don't have to work as much as I need to, right? So I say no a lot. Chances are 9 out of 10 times when somebody reaches out to say, hey, we want to do something with you, my first answer is typically no. Just because right now I'm not in a space where I want to work more. I want more balance, right? More wellness. That is my focus and finding that balance. And again, this is why we make these changes. Shout outs to Kivo in the building. Kivo says, when you find your gift, people pay you to be yourself. You know what? And I'm so glad Kivo said that, because Kivo has been getting paid from sitting in a car talking to you for years now. For years. Kivo is the living embodiment of getting paid for yourself. The man just decided to take when Blue was big in camera. I remember when Kivo had the grainy videos in the beginning. Man sat in that car, shot that video. Shout outs to when Samsung gave him that upgrade. I think that was because of Jarrod too. I think I think Jarrod and Short when Kivo had the blue and he had the grainy videos in the beginning, I think Jarrod ensured that Kivo got that Samsung upgrade. And he's been getting paid to be himself. The man, Kivo said they're still grainy. But you know what? Guess what? Kivo's still getting paid. Them grainy videos, still getting Kivo paid because he is himself, right? Rhonda says, I became an entrepreneur at the best time in the history of the world. As an analytical thinker, I was always the person who asked the hard question. Now I feel aligned. Ooh, I love it. Radiker says, this is a wake-up call for me. I love it. Sade said, let me see. Let me pull up this response. That's a beautiful, multifaceted answer. Thank you for sharing so openly. You're clearly someone who thrives in calm and intentional environments and is energized by meaningful connections, creative expression, and helping others grow. There is a natural blend of service, healing, and creativity in your interests, plus a deep love for nature and learning. Woo! Question number 2. If you could spend a full day doing something that makes you feel deeply fulfilled, what would that day look like from start to finish? Girl, those are the answers. That is why you are in this workshop. Now, just imagine the schools are doing this workshop. Think about that for 1 second. Imagine the schools doing this workshop right now. Imagine your kids in standard and the forums doing this workshop right now. Imagine if all of the universities took a national day, all of our universities, UTT, UE, you name it. Imagine if all of our universities across the Caribbean took a day and did this exact workshop. Could you imagine what everybody walks away with after that? You know how much money, you know how much alignment would happen on a national level? Would happen? Hi, hi, hi. Macastar says, I'm always willing to learn and grow with my environment. I love it. Ronald says, this exercise is easy to do because I found my purpose in martial arts and wellness. So curious to see what ChatGPT spits out. I love it. I love it, right? So let me see. What does mine say? Mine says that's a powerful start. You're clearly passionate about tech-fueled creativity, not just using tools, but composing systems and building workflows that do things more efficiently and imaginatively. Martech and automation, where marketing meets AI, process design and performance, digital business and global trade, particularly how Asia's infrastructure, manufacturing, and digital systems enable scalable commerce. Does that not sound like me? E-commerce strategy, but from a systems and supply chain leverage perspective, not just store setup. That blend of interest is extremely valuable in the evolving job market, especially in roles that combine digital strategy, AI literacy, and cross-border comments. Again, you see that response, or you're hearing that response because you're doing it yourself. That is me. That is exactly me, right? Question number 2. What does your ideal work day and week look like? Think how many hours a day, how flexible location, solo versus team, in person versus remote, travel. All right, so let me answer this question. My ideal day works like I am not a huge teen, not a huge fixed. Know everything. Do job for flexibility. No 2 days like my current roles. I lecture university. And folks, don't beat up if you're making spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes. ChatGPT is smarter than all of us, and it can pick sense out of nonsense. Okay. Sherry says, you took the thought out of my head. I'm thinking, what if my daughter's school did this? Absolutely. Macintosh says, been advertising something similar for teens, but never got confirmation because parents in the diaspora doesn't see AI and adapting to tech as a priority. Whew. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, this is why, you know, rather than waiting for institutions to do this, no, we don't need to, right? This is personal responsibility. And this is also why I wanted to do this workshop to ensure that we have spaces like this where we can come in and learn. And look, we're 90 deep. 90 people have joined us in today's workshop to do exactly this, right? So let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat how you guys making out. What question are you on? Right? It's not a race. It's not a sprint. Take your time. You have time, right? You have 30 minutes to get it done. So take your time. Try not to take 30 minutes though, because we have another prompt after this. Try to finish this within the next 15 minutes. So that's your time limit. Try to finish this within the next 15 minutes, right? Which is enough time, but give as much information as you want. Shadron says using the mic option and talking to ChatGPT helps a lot with these interview type prompts. Absolutely. So, as Shadron just pointed out, if you're somebody where you can speak directly into ChatGPT, so like at the very bottom here, there's this mic, you can dictate your responses to ChatGPT, and that's also going to help as well. So, if you rather dictate it, then click on the mic and you could dictate your answers, and that's obviously going to help you as well. Okay. Question number, oh, let me see. Got it. You're a multi-hyphenate operator with a portfolio career by design. You thrive when no 2 days are the same. Variety keeps you creatively and intellectually engaged. You're in full control of your schedule. You are disciplined. You're not rigid. Your work aligns with your mission, showcasing global digital opportunities for the Caribbean. You straddle multiple domains: academia, media, consulting, and content creation. You need freedom and trust. Any role that feels like clocking in is likely to drain your spirit. That's incredibly helpful. Okay, so let's build on this. when you are doing your best work, the kind that makes you lose track of time, what exactly are you doing? Describe the type of tasks, projects, or environments that make you feel most in flow. One caveat that I'll say here as well is if you are somebody at the end of this exercise, if you are somebody who doesn't want a job, but you actually want to build a business, at the end of everything, at the end of the learning roadmap, you can ask the question, what jobs, or sorry, not jobs, what businesses can I start based on everything that we have discussed today? And that prompt will now let you receive the information on businesses to create. All right. So you would still do everything. You would still do everything as is. But the third prompt at the very end of everything would be, now tell me about what types of businesses I could start that align with what is needed and also based on everything you have learned about me. Okay. So, question number three, when you're doing your best work, the kind that makes you lose track of time, what exactly are you doing? Describe the tasks, projects, and environments that make you feel most in flow. For me, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about. And I'm gonna do some things that you don't have to do, but I'm just showing you the power of what you could do with ChatGPT, right? So I'm gonna jump into YouTube and I'm going to show literally this is typically my feed. Gary Vee somewhere in there, basketball somewhere in there, and I'm sure some music, my jazz, my old Havana, that's going to be there as well. So I'm going to, there's a particular, where is it? There's a particular Congo to Cuba. So I'm just going to grab something, right? Again, you don't have to do this, but I like to let ChatGPT understand who I am and what I like to do, right? So I'm going to do this Beethoven Symphony number 9. Oh, by the way, all I do is listen to, like, when I work, all I do is listen to Beethoven or or some Cuba music, or I'll turn on a concert from one of my favorite Jamaican artists and I listen to a concert. And that is what I use to work. But also, and I'm going to show you something else, right? The other thing that I do is I always find, so when I'm working, I always find things that are about an hour to an hour and a half in terms of length, in terms of music. And my goal every single time I'm working, I need to finish all of the work that I'm doing before the concert is done. So it also serves as kind of a time limit for me that when something is winding down, I should be done. And by done, I mean if I'm podcasting, I need to have, I would have recorded the podcast, but I need to now edit. I need to distribute to multitude of platforms. I need to convert it into multiple pieces of content. There's a lot of things that I would do after I record a podcast or do a video or do a blog, and I give myself the length of a video to finish it. So once it's done, it has to be done. And every single time, because there's times where I'm not done and I gotta go and queue up another thing, right? The goal for me is always every single time I'm doing something, I need to get better and better every single time out so that before the concert is done, my work is done. And for some reason, I stumbled onto that accidentally, and now it's just become a habit over the years. So I queue up an hour and a half concert. That's playing. I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm shooking and jiving on my own accord. But by the time that thing is done, by the time the music is done, my task should be done. All right. Maria says the timer hack is a great idea. Rhonda says I recently created a Spotify playlist for work. Absolutely. I will do mine later tonight. Mini Me is still up and I will need to concentrate. No problem, right? So I'm going to put that in there and I'm going to say, let me tell you something about me. I love to listen to music when I work, and this is typically my vibe. So I'll cue this up and say when I finish recording 1 hour podcast, I then have to start doing distribution, which is by All right, so let me see. Sherman says I have to go. Everyone have a blessed night. Oh, so what I'll let everybody know is the replay, that same link, right? The feeling stuck, use this tool to find your next career path. I'm going to post the replay here. So if you can't stay till the end, that's okay. The replay is going to be posted here. Okay? The replay is going to be posted here. And if you don't get to finish, right, that's okay, right? Because again, the instructions are here, right? And again, it does take time, but then that's okay, right? You can complete it later. All the instructions are here because after the first, right? So here's what I'll do. I'm going to show you what it looks like for the next. I'm going to show you what the next step looks like, right? So I'm going to say, and this is just for me, just so I can show you the next step, right? Because all the instructions are going to be posted to the site. So I'm going to say, I want instead of 30 questions, I want you to ask me 3 more after the 4th question, and then you can make a recommendation. I'm doing this just so I could show you what the second step is in case, because I know not everybody is going to finish, right? So I'm going to finish these next 3 questions and then I'm going to show you what to do after the fact. All right. So question number 4, what kinds of tasks, work environments, or responsibilities consistently drain your energy, even if you're good at them or get praised by doing them? To physically be in an office by force is a non-starter. Miss me that. I need flexibility. Derek says he switched to Gemini since questions 3, ChatGPT asking for a subscription. That's okay. You could do this in Gemini or DeepSeek as well. That's perfectly fine. What's your relationship with learning right now? Do you prefer short certification, self-paced courses, or open to long-term degrees or advanced academic programs? I prefer short certifications, self-paced learning, simply because field in changes up, drop of a dime, shorter learning keep me on the pulse. Perfect. Agile in your learning style, quick to adapt, no desire to spend 2 to 4 years chasing a degree in a field that shifts monthly, self-directed. You don't need structure imposed on you. You build your own paths. Relevance focus. Your goal is mastery of what's useful now, not what's prestigious on paper. Oh my goodness, that's a bar. Relevance focus. Your goal is mastery of what's useful now, not what's prestigious on paper. Listen to me. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people that would hear that statement and bawl. That's a lie. Nah, man. We have been going after jobs on paper that are prestigious, the lawyers, the doctors, the engineers, and we are producing more graduates than there are jobs, right? Every single year, we see the headlines. Hundreds of UE students graduated medicine with no jobs to go to, right? And most of it is because we are still guiding people to careers that are prestigious on paper and not what's actually useful in today's real world, right? Jarrod just said you need a degree. You need a degree. Lawyers won't have a job in less than 5 years because most of it will be online. And you know what? I think whilst we're still going to have lawyers, I think so much of the legal industry and jobs like paralegals, right? Jobs like researchers, like legal researchers, I think a lot of those jobs are going to be gone. A lot of those jobs are going to be gone. So even if we need lawyers, a lot of the roles that support lawyers are going to be gone. All right. And again, if I'm in school as a paralegal right now, I'm jumping ship. Paralegals don't have a future within the next couple of years. And again, I'm not going to wait. You don't have to quit your job right now, but you should not be waiting until the job is obsolete, right? You need to be thinking about right now and start prepping for yourselves right now, right? And yeah, 18 to 24 months. And again, this is exactly why you need to be prepping now. Because if it's gone in 18 months and you're in school, what kind of investment is that? There's no ROI, right? And again, this is why we're having the workshop. A lot of people are in roles that are going to be gone in the next couple of years. You cannot wait until the role is gone for you to start thinking about pivoting. Grace says times have changed, not necessarily a degree. There are a lot of certifications that make more sense. Correct. And again, this is why we're saying you need to pivot. But what are we pivoting to? That is what we're talking about right now. What are we pivoting to? All right. And a lot of these degrees, and to your point, right? To your point, Grace, the reality is, and this is what we mentioned earlier on from the Coursera and the World Economic Forum, they have straight up said, let me go right back to it. Let me go right back to it. Right. According to World Economic Forum, the skills needed to fill these roles are rapidly evolving. 44% of all workers' core skills will change by 2028, right? And then employers around the world are shifting to skills first hiring. What matters now is not was what you can do, not what's written on your degree. Companies globally have been dropping degree requirements because degrees do not equal skills, which is why so much of our industries are in the crisis that they are, because we have all these educated people with no skills, and certainly not the skills needed for us to thrive today. You just look around the Caribbean, right? Look around the Caribbean, look around Trinidad and Tobago, look around Jamaica. Is it evidence? Do you see evidence that we are this extremely educated society? We often complain every single day. The police, the infrastructure for legal doesn't work. The infrastructure for this doesn't work. The infrastructure for that. Things aren't working. So what exactly is the ROI of all of this, of all these degrees we've acquired? We are one of the most educated nations in the entire Caribbean region, in Trinidad and Tobago. When you look around TNT, does it look like we have made good use of the education that we have? If nothing is working, right? So that is why companies, Microsoft, IBM, Apple, Google, the biggest companies in the world no longer require degrees. They've dropped that. Now they want skills. Okay. So one person's done, Sadiq. So let me just finish up this so I can show you what happens next. All right. Question number 6: what kind of impact do you want to make through your work, whether it's for your audience? Da, da, da. I want people to see the digital opportunities, and I want help scale digitally, marketing, and e-commerce. Also, learning how to tap Asia's networks to scale. All right, we have a couple of people who are finished. I'm almost done, so I'm going to show you the last step. You're not just a content creator or a consultant. You are a bridge builder between the Caribbean and the world. That are the old mindsets in the new digital economy, underserved regions and global infrastructure, digital knowledge and practical economic outcomes. Your North Star is helping people, especially from the Caribbean, leverage digital tools, platforms, and Asian ecosystems to scale income, impact, independence. You do this through content, education, strategy, storytelling. One final one. What do you want your next 10 years to look like? What are you intentionally avoiding or breaking away from? I want to be in a role that has real value for region, when you can solve valuable problems. That is where money is made. I believe that we are paid in direct proportion to the size of the problems that we solve. I believe I have the ability to solve big challenges for Caribbean, and I'm avoiding solving very specific problems. Only one Caribbean country. My focus needs to be on helping them tap global opportunities to scale. All right, so let's see. I just finished the last question. In 5 minutes, we're going to be having Jarrod Bestminster come in and talk to us about LinkedIn. So we're almost done. We have about 20 minutes left. I'm almost done on this. So I'm going to show you what the next step is, right? So I just finished my 7 questions. So that's the final piece of the puzzle, and it's a powerful one. You are not here to be locked into small localized roles, solve surface level problems like running ads or managing a social media calendar. Stay narrowly focused on one island, one industry, or one silo. Work for vanity or visibility alone. You're designing a region-wide value proposition with global leverage. You're motivated by scale and impact, and impact must be transformational, not just operational. You're building an infrastructure of insight and guiding people to new global playing fields. So your career clarity report, based on your answers and everything that we've learned. Number one, digital strategy consultant for e-commerce and global growth, a specialist who helps brands, governments, and entrepreneurs build scalable digital strategies from SEO, content ecosystems to e-commerce infrastructure and automation, especially focused on using regions like Asia as supply and manufacturing partners to fuel Caribbean exports and digital product growth. Why it's growing. WEF, the World Economic Forum, and Coursera both project digital trade, AI-powered marketing, and e-commerce as global growth areas. ASEAN is a rising epicenter of supply chain innovation and cross-border digital commerce. Why it's a fit for you. You are already doing this in media and consulting work. You can create playbooks, build the distribution systems, inspire global scale, all while being fully remote. You thrive in layered, tech-integrated ecosystems where creativity, commerce, and culture intersect. Bonus tip to get started. Take the e-commerce strategy course by Google on Coursera. It's short, practical, and will give you new case studies and tools for scaling global brands and emerging markets. Number 2, digital business educator, thought leader, AI and global Caribbean. A hybrid role combining teaching, digital content creation, and training, right? So as we see, we have a list of 5 roles and why, right? We have a list of 5 roles and why as to what is going to fit for me. Now, Rhonda, remember, everything is on the page already. The second prompt is right here. Scroll down. Prompt after, step number 3, creating a learning path. This is the prompt right here. So if you scroll down, you're going to grab this prompt, right? So I just finished mine, so I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to grab this prompt, right? This is the prompt. Now, this is going to ask you 10 more questions so that it can match the learning style. But I'm not going to do 10 questions. I'm just going to do 3 just so you can see the outcome. So I'm going to drop that in there. I'm just going to post 3 questions. I have 4 minutes before Jarrod comes in. So I'm going to get this thing quickly. No, only ask me 3 questions. One by. All right, so first question, what is your total budget? My total budget, I have $200 USD to my name. I live paycheck to paycheck. And I'm answering this to show you why you should be putting in as much information about you as possible, right? So I'm just going to say I have $200 to my name. I live paycheck to paycheck. This is to show you that you can get started into things that cost next to no money, right? Got it. Thank you for being real. We'll prioritize free or ultra low cost resources. You need tools that offer real skill growth without locking you into subscriptions or big tuition. The roadmap must lead to income generating opportunities ASAP, not just theory. That's 100% doable. Two, how much time per week can you realistically dedicate to learning or building this new path, considering everything else to your life? I can commit to 10 hours per week. Broken, I can commit to 10 hours per week. And again, give it as much information as possible. You're not going to finish this in the time of the workshop, but again, at least you're going to see how it should look, and you have the companion page for all of the prompts, right? So with 10 hours a week, we're in a great start zone, finishing short courses in 2 to 6 weeks, building a lean but powerful portfolio alongside your learning, staying consistent without burnout, hitting your first client monetization opportunity in under 90 days if we plan it right. Are you more comfortable with self-paced learning, or do you prefer structured learning? I want self-paced. Self-paced for flexibility. So here's the full picture of reality. Your real life constraints and resources. So budget, will stick to free or ultra low cost tools only. Time, how much time you can dedicate. Learning style, self-paced or prioritize an on-demand, no pressure platforms that you learn when it fits your life. So reevaluating your career matches. So this is why we're doing this. And again, I'm doing this to show you what you should end up with, right? So at the end, we are seeing now, but based on what my interests are and what's the best fit, and now based on my learning styles and how much money and time and resources I have, these are the things that makes most sense. So number one, digital strategy consultant for e-commerce and global growth, already aligned with your skills and brand, high income ceiling, low barrier to entry. Digital business educator and thought leader, strong fit, but monetization is slower unless paired with consulting and digital products. So you have what you should be doing based on what you can realistically invest in terms of time and money. And if you scroll down, now you're going to have a learning plan. So now I can say, right? Now I can say, choose, right? You can pick which job. So now I can say, I like job number one. Please create the learning roadmap for. Now that we've identified the role I have chosen, you can also ask more questions. You can do more research about the roles. You can go into ChatGPT and ask questions about those particular roles. Don't just take what it gives you. Ask questions, get deeper insights, right? But at the end of the day, this is what the end result is going to be: a roadmap to becoming a digital strategy consultant. So role summary, you'll help Caribbean entrepreneurs do X, Y, and Z. Your 12-week roadmap, 10 hours a week. Phase one, learn, observe, build, apply, publish, and monetize. Phase one, enroll in Google Digital Marketing. So if I click on this open link, if I click on this, there we go. It's giving me the course to do to get started, right? Or it could recommend a program, short course, or long-term degree program for you to get into as well, right? So it's giving me the first thing to do. Week 2, we're going to learn about Shopify, WooCommerce, explore fulfillment, email automation. So I have an entire roadmap of what I should be learning and what I should be doing. And again, you can now ask questions and interact. That way you can create a perfect customized education roadmap that fits the jobs that you are trying to do based on everything it's learned about you and paired you up with based on the World Economic Forum and the Coursera Job Skills Report. So this is the end result. You now have exactly what you should be getting into, and you have the education plan, and now you can properly plan your life around everything that you have just witnessed. So it's now 7:45. I want to respect everybody's time. Jarrod Bess Mitchell, please come to the front of the class. Let me ask Jarrod I'm gonna make Jarrod a whole. Okay, let me pin Jarrod here. Let me stop my video. Sorry. Oh, Jarrod, put your video back on. Sorry. And let
Seeing
me.
and hearing me, right?
I'm hearing you. I am seeing you. All right. There we go, Jarrod. So, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jarrod Best Mitchell. If you do not know who he is, Jarrod is a LinkedIn and sales coach, one of the best in the business, right? If you don't know, you know by now his favorite color in the entire world is yellow. I have never seen a man just like yellow. The man has thrown away candy because the candy isn't yellow. He disgusted. So Jarrod is going to be talking to us about LinkedIn, why we need the platform, some things that you should be doing. And again, we know that all of us need support and assistance. Jarrod helps on two fronts. On one front, if you want to learn about it, he makes the most amount of content on LinkedIn so you can follow and you can learn along. And until you are ready to make a commitment, then you could again you could soak in as much knowledge as possible. And then if you also need services to help you build and optimize your LinkedIn platform, because this is where people are getting jobs from, Jarrod is the person. So Jarrod, talk to us about LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us today in this session.
Yeah. My pleasure. So I want to give this quick breakdown. So and just give a comment. Tishel, you're correct. I think a great skill you could learn that's applicable across industries is like the essentials in project management. I think that skill still has a lot of relevancy. And yeah, so Keron, my boy, thank you for the intro. So let's break this down quickly for everybody. And I'm going to say this boldly, just like what Keron is saying throughout the entire webinar. I do not believe that resumes will be relevant in the future. And I don't think it'll be what you see as the current resume. I think it'll be something else. And I think this is why I need to lean in on platforms like LinkedIn, because more and more you're going to see recruiters not rely on seeing a resume, but rely on seeing your LinkedIn profile and using that as the ability to judge who they bring into an organization. Because your LinkedIn profile, and I should have the ability to share, right, Karen? No, I send the request, right? Here's the thing. Your LinkedIn profile gives you way more dimensions than a resume. Your resume today has to be 2 pages. Your LinkedIn profile gives you so much depth because I could see who you are. If you're creating content, I could see your actual personality. But I want to show everybody here something important, and I think this is what we're not realizing. Which page am I at? This one. Right. So let me show you all this, right? So I'm just going to pick a random name. So you submitted your resume. Where's the chat? Right? You submitted your resume. Let's pick this name and see what comes up. Shawnell Joseph just submitted her resume to my company. I do this, right? And immediately I'm going to click and go to your LinkedIn profile. Here's the question, Shawnell, right? And I'm glad you learned a lot from the page. If I click this, will I be impressed with what I see? And does it align with somebody who I want in my organization? Like, that's the important thing. So yeah, I know you're trembling for me because you think, gosh, I don't want it to click this because other people will see my page. But this is exactly what's happening in the world right now. If your resume that you may have submitted passes that ATS compliant or somebody give your name true, they're gonna look at your profile. We need to see an actual presence there. Because, and I'll tell you this, so all of my clients right now, this is what I think is gonna happen in the next I would say under 12 to 18 months. A lot of us in this room, and you could tell me yes or no, you're going to be looking for remote jobs, correct? Let me know quickly. Just type yes or no. Are you searching for remote jobs? Because you don't want to leave Trinidad, but you don't want a Trinidad salary. Right. So that simply means that your LinkedIn is going to have more preference because only in Trinidad and like Jamaica, like they care about resumes and degrees. I have clients who working in Doha in the oil sector. And like when they were hired, ask them, how much time did they spend asking you about your degree and your resume? None. They found them on LinkedIn, they saw what they did, and they hired them through these platforms. This is why this is important. So here's the thing. You could start taking everything from Keron's program here now, and here's the prompt that I want you to put in, and I'm going to type it into the chat, right? So using this newfound information, right? And I'm typing it here. Help me craft a LinkedIn profile, right? That will attract recruiters and employers, right? Focus only on the key sections, right? That there is your prompt, right? That's it. Focus only on the key sections, right? That there is a simple prompt that you're entering. That's it. Because you already have all the information. So it's going to take that. And if most I'll tell you to do is just say, ask me information that will be relevant and helpful to the recruiter. But that prompt is all it needs to just help you in terms of getting your LinkedIn profile up where it needs to be. Because here's what I want you to think of. You know what you want to do because Keron's guide is going to help you figure out what are those roles that are applicable to your skills. What you have to ask yourself now is, if somebody looks at my profile, does it speak to the skills that they're hiring for that I have the ability to do? And if not, then you're going to run into problems because your LinkedIn profile is what's literally going to speak for you on your behalf. Because and I'll give you a simple example. I'll pull up a profile I just finished for a client. Right, so it's Joshua's profile. Right. So this is my client's profile. And I'm going to count down 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Who could tell me what he does? It could just be one word. Just tell me something that you recognize or you remember.
Project manager.
Great.
Project
What else? Tell
management,
me.
project manager.
Right. Think about it this way. I'm a recruiter and I only have 8 seconds on average to look to see if a profile is impactful and aligned with what I'm looking for. If it's not visually and worded correctly, that recruiter is going to drop off in 8 seconds. So again, just using it as an example, like in the case with Shonal, if I see that and I don't see anything, there's nothing for me to go on. So immediately I move off the page. So you have to ensure your profile like speaks to people, speaks to the recruiter needs in terms of what they're looking for. As I see the names, I just want to pop it up so I can give people great, lovely profile picture. I like this. I would tell you make the wording bigger because people need to see the wording. Your headline sections are great. And by the way, folks, your headlines on LinkedIn are searchable. The reason why it's formatted like this is because I don't need to know who Kefi is. I need to know the skill sets that I want to hire for. And recruiters search based on that on the headline, and that's how they find Kefi. Right? Right, so just do me this favor, Kefi. No dynamic, no results driven. Those are overused words. Find something else, but kick off your profile with wording that is like impactful. Like it should be more quantifiable and attention grabber. So again, you could actually drop in your resume in ChatGPT and ask it to write for you an about section for LinkedIn that appeals to recruiters and highlights your skill sets. You don't have to like rework or do all the magic yourself. So the reason why I want to take out these words, again, think of it as a recruiter. If I see these words, I'm going to zone it out. You want to put something there that this recruiter will be able to understand. Okay, after I look at her profile and I want to scroll, do I want to read the about section? Do I want to look at the rest of the things she's doing? So I love how you have everything here, right? I like how everything here is listed on the profile. So this is good. But this is what you want to make sure and do, folks. You want to ensure that from the minute you go and click on somebody's profile, that you're able to see what they can do for you. And by the way, this is how you show up firstly, yeah? This is why you don't put like standard headlines. You put keywords that gets the person's attention. And then this creates the scroll factor, right? So all of these things I write for my clients. And like, this is just to make sure we have the impact so the person could get the results. Like, this is what your LinkedIn is there for you for. This is the additional dimensions. So everything you're taking from Keron tonight, you need to now make sure that this helps guide what you put into ChatGPT to say, help me craft my LinkedIn profile now so that companies could start finding me, right? Here's the last thing I'm going to mention. This here is like SEA. This is not even a degree. This is SEA. In other words, this is bare minimum. What is going to differentiate you now in any job market is creating content based on the expertise you know companies want to hire for. So if it is that this is what you're passionate about, here's my fun tip, everybody. If you see jobs that you apply for online, I want you to write a LinkedIn post about it each and every time. So I don't want you to say, for example, let me see what jobs are there right now, because I could go into the jobs tab. Let's just see what Latin America is hiring for. Right, so let's just say data scientist, right? Just as an example. I'm not going to write, if I was a data scientist for Carrie Chris. No, I'm going to say if I was a data scientist for a regional accounting body, here's what I'll do in the first 30, 60, 90 days. And every time you have a post, you keep putting that in, right? So yes, Daniel is saying sometimes you apply to jobs with different titles, so we should just put every title because that would be too much. No, there are general descriptions to the title. So even though it's found during search, it's not just going to search specifically for that word. It will search for the general titles as well because there's a specific subscription called LinkedIn Recruiter. So you should make sure and have that on, right? And one last thing. So I know Keron asked me to explain what an ATS compliant resume is. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System. If you're submitting and uploading your resume online, it's using a robot to figure out the keywords and the formatting. If your resume is not formatted properly, you're going to get instant rejection letters, responses. So it's not that you don't have the skill sets, it just simply means your resume isn't formatted. So I have a resume writing team. They could format your resume for you in an excellent format. I could do over the LinkedIn profiles because that increases your chances for people making sure they find you. I want to just show you all one thing. You see this open to work section here, like right underneath open to. I want you all to activate that on your profile. I want to show you what to do. I have it for people who are looking for my skill sets, but I want to scroll to the bottom and let you put recruiters only. And I don't want you to put the option where it says open to work because I don't want you. That open to work just makes you look desperate. Leave that off, but you could signal this to people who have the LinkedIn Recruiter subscription only. Put full-time, part-time contract. No offense. Permanent work is an outdated tactic as well, right? Part-time contract, full-time, you'll probably get more responses with this. List all the remote locations. You can see all the job titles there and just click save. That's the key thing that you want to do. Make sure that's activated. Do not have an open to work profile on here. It's going to turn people off. And by the way, my banner only moves because I have a different LinkedIn subscription. If you don't have premium, you won't get this, but you can still create a standard banner utilizing Canva, which works pretty well. Right? Let me just check. Ronald is asking me to look at his profile. Ron. Picture too dark, too much words on the screen, too much words on the banner. It should just be one specific statement. Like how you say this, I help men master mind, body, and spirit through martial arts, be it wellness. I would actually cut it here with this part, but I needed to specify like which type of men, executives, CEOs, etc. You need to narrow that down. No, this is not let's call it biography. Stop introducing yourself. I don't care about you. I care about how you can help me. So that is what your messaging should speak about. I love the featured section with the discovery parts. Those are good. And as I say, keep putting up more content. Right? So yes. Right? So let me see. Oh, so I know this name. Sadiq. I know this name. I know this name. Why do I know this name? I don't think I know two people named Sadiq. So I know we are connected, right? Okay. I know we are connected. I remember this. Right, Sadiq. Great. ICT professional. Take that out. That's too generic and outdated term. Put some additional stuff. Get rid of this in terms of your contact. List the skill sets as you could do. Shrink your name. No introduction, folks. We're not an interview. Like, speak about what you could do for a company, right? This is still too vague, right? But here's what I'll tell you to do, Sadiq, because I saw somebody do this many years ago. I'm so upset I never saved it. What you should be posting as content is you actually doing the IT skills, the AI skills, whatever it is that companies want to hire for. Like it should be a video, like it should be using Loom or a Zoom recording. Have yourself in the corner and you should be showing how you're doing the skills to show you actually have the competency. That there will be a bigger seller versus anything else because essentially you're creating a portfolio of everything that you're actually doing. One last one, Keron. I'm just doing Francis Shade. Right. Good profile picture. That's too generic of a statement. So no, you see, dynamic. Everybody dynamic and motivated and hardworking. No. Speak about like what you help people achieve. It might be a bit too long. Break this up. Include the keywords in the about section, not just in the top skills. I like how all these things are listed here. 5 takeaways. Cool. When was this? 1 week, 13 hours ago. Good. Okay, so these are good. But I think you need to adjust this and you should have. My only question is, would this, and again, don't be upset if I judge it wrong. I don't know if experienced librarian might be an outdated term and it may turn off a recruiter. So it should be about the roles that you're looking for. I'll put that on it. And then I'll update the banner. Like, I understand the treat people with kindness. That's great. Again, maybe depend on the culture, but overall, I think what we should be focused on is making sure that your banner, which is the largest real estate, just indicates the value that you provide, like immediately. So again, I'll go back to my client, which is Joshua, right? Where creative meets operations and deadlines are non-negotiable. So yes, ask your questions.
Hi, good night, everyone. My first question, okay, well, more to keep it brief. My son is 9 years old, right? Do you think that he's too young for me to put him onto LinkedIn? What it is that he does like advertisements and stuff like that. Would
What do
you
you mean
recommend that?
advertisements?
Okay, so he will get called, like he got a call from Barefruit, he did Smiling Dental, he did Value Optical, so he did
As in
like
video
promotion.
ads?
Correct, yes.
Listen, every single platform, not just LinkedIn. So yes, so yeah, I'll
I
show
think
you
you
her.
follow my son as well on TikTok. He did the 9 year old straightening and painting.
Oh, nice.
That is
Watch.
my son.
So this here is one of my clients who does voiceover, and through LinkedIn, she gets opportunities from clients on her voice on for voiceovers.
Okay.
Like put him on LinkedIn. Make sure you emphasize the fact that he does acting every time he does a job.
Mhm.
List all the portfolios, everything that he does. Put it there and put it across all the platforms. But LinkedIn, you'll find, as again, I'm just biased compared to other platforms because you get way more high value clients here.
Jared,
Okay.
let me jump
And
in and say one thing. Let me jump in and just add one thing.
Yes.
Because you're building a portfolio and the type of work he's doing, always get a website as well. Your website should be your home base. That should be the place, especially for people that are doing work like Aisha, right? Like perfect example,
Yep.
like Aisha. Have your website as your portfolio. You need both. You need LinkedIn because that's where all the decision makers are. But remember your website as well as also your digital home. That is your portfolio that's accessible by the world. And people are also going into the search engines to find people and also into the chat GPTs, the Geminis, the AI tools have access to the internet and people are going there for information as well. Your website allows you to now show up in search engines and also in the AI tools. So that's just my 2 cents. Jared, continue.
Correct. But
thank you.
again, I have time here, so if people want to ask questions, they can ask. Where I know you have a cutoff for your webinar, Karen, but you know me.
Yeah,
These are the things I love talking about. So if you want a free quick audit, they can. I'll just tell them what they need to fix.
so here's what we'll do, right?
You tell me,
Just so everybody, because we have a good bit of people still online, right? Let's go
right?
for another 20 minutes. Jared will answer questions if you want to do a profile review, right? That way you don't feel like you're gonna lose out on anything. And again, everything is recorded. I'm posting the replay after this. So Jared, we have 20 minutes. Go ahead.
Nice. So you'll tell me, what's your questions? Oh, so actually, let me
Maria,
show you the most
Maria,
important thing.
look, hold on, look, Maria.
Yeah, Maria.
Hello. Hello,
Hi,
good
Maria.
evening. I have a conundrum in that I have like three sides to me. So whereas I might be highly technical, all that AI stuff, education, strategic thinking, and so on, I have a completely different side that is more creative. So for example, I get work very minimally as a traditional carnival character and stuff like that. As I saw the voiceover artist, how would I approach that from a LinkedIn position in that I also want to express or look at that side of things. I'm in theater as well, so I have acted, stuff like that. But I'm a quite strongly a scientist and engineering type, STEM type person. So how would I?
So
What's
if
your
I say this
suggestion for that?
correctly, if I say this correctly, have you actually use both sides of your brain, your left and right brain, correct?
Yeah, yeah, quite a bit, quite a bit. I do
So
music as well. Yeah,
so
plenty, both sides.
essentially,
Yes.
here's the thing, and this is for everybody. Nobody in today's world expects you to do one thing. I think anybody who you know that just does like literally one thing, that's a red flag in my opinion. We have the ability to taste and do so many things. I think it's normal for somebody to expect. I think what makes it unique is that what people expect the other thing for you to be might not be creative because you're so technical on one side. So people naturally see it as an outlet. But here's the good thing. I'm sure what you do comes in season. So the technical aspect is the majority of what you do. But the seasons of where the creative side comes out is carnival time on different times. So what you have to let people know is that you would see it, but everybody will automatically know, like when mango in season, everybody buy mango. When mango not in season, there's a main thing that's there involved. So be okay talking about both because it
Yeah,
won't confuse the audience. What you have to do is
I'm
just
not
tailor the message. Sorry?
I'm not only getting work at Carnival, I'm actually now getting work throughout the year for projects and so
Oh,
on.
nice.
And I'm also in the sport and elite performance side of things. So I coach, and so it's a very I'm really all over the place.
No, you're
And I
not.
would
No,
really
you're not. You're not all over the place because you only list out three things for me. That's not all over the place.
okay, all right.
Save
Okay.
some jobs
So
for us,
you can
Maria.
talk about all
Don't
three.
take all the jobs, Maria.
Exactly. So trust me, be okay talking about all of them. It is 100% okay. Don't stress,
Okay,
right?
all
And if
right. Thank
anybody
you.
wants to judge you for it, that's not your opinion to consider. They don't understand how the world operates today.
So, Maria,
Okay.
Multiple things.
to add to that, right? We are at a time and place now where people understand that we're multi-dimensional people. You're not just going to post about one thing. So like even for my own brand, I've started to share a lot of my own interests. So like when I started to post me going to the snake parks and me handling reptiles, and people are like, where did this come from? And I'm like, man, I've owned snakes. I've owned like I that's always been a part of me. I'm just now sharing that with the world, and that's opened up a completely new dynamic for me, right? So
Yeah.
you can have you do have the ability now to start talking about all of your interests. I think now is the best time in terms of being a content creator or just putting yourself out there, because nobody expects you to just talk about one thing. People want to see all the different sides. And to be honest, I think so. This is one thing I've started to realize for me on LinkedIn. Honestly, I don't really listen to a lot of advice or information on LinkedIn because we have so many places to get information. What I look for now on LinkedIn is all the people that I like and value. I want to see the other things that make them tick, because it could be that you go fishing and fishing gives you a different perspective or adds something. I want to see all those extra things that make you tick. That way I can take and learn from the leaders and people ahead of me. And maybe I start doing some of those things too. So people do want to see that side of you.
Would you
And
recommend two different websites then to deal with a different side, or just one website? As you said, you must have a website behind LinkedIn. Would you suggest one website where all of this stuff is, or would you cut it up from a
I
website
have one
perspective?
website.
Okay.
I have
And then you have the different tabs, because that
so
will confuse people too much.
I
Unless each of them become big in their own way, but I'll let Keron answer that.
yeah, so I definitely would say one website, right? Because when you're making your content via the blog section, right? You have categories. So you would just have to learn about your different silo. Think of your categories as different pillars for what content you put out. So like one of my pillars on my website is titled The Entrepreneur Journey. So things that I'm going through on a daily basis or just seeing in my own personal capacity or things that I'm just doing, that's an area that I can post kind of miscellaneous content. But when I'm talking about digital strategy, the digital strategy content goes under the digital strategy category. When I'm talking e-commerce, all of these things are categorized when I'm making out the content to make it easier for people to sift through. But no, definitely do one website. The only caveat is a personal branded website. Because
Yeah, I got that one. I
right.
got that one for
Because
sure, for sure.
because I have two websites. I have my KarenRose.com, which is becoming a bit more multidimensional, but then I also have the Digipreneur FM podcast. I'm not going to be posting personal branded stuff on my Digipreneur FM podcast website. Under Karen
Correct.
Rose, I have the flexibility. So personal branded website gives you more flexibility now.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
thank you very much.
let me just share this one with you. So I want to give everybody this tip. So I know a lot of y'all are probably job searching on LinkedIn, right? So I want you to learn something, and I'm going to type it into the chat. There's something called Boolean search that you need to learn. And what Boolean search will do is that will narrow down like the job titles you're searching for. So for example, if somebody gives me a job title that they're looking for right now on LinkedIn, just type it in the chat for me. Or say it out loud, either one.
Prompt engineering.
Right, hold on. Auditor. Right. So if I search auditor in Latin America, here's what I would tell you. Anytime you're doing a job search and you get even more than 100 results, that search is too broad, right? Like especially if it's a big term, like how Michelle is saying anti-dumping investigator, that's like a very niche, that's different. But if I'm searching for a general term, like even adding simple things like the quotes unquote, which is part of the Boolean search thing, actually helps you narrow down the results. And then what you could start doing is applying all the filters. So LinkedIn is the only site where I could literally go through and look at it at different levels. So I could say I want something mid-senior level, I'm looking for something full-time. It has to be remote. And you notice it's down to 41 search results. Like, this is how you should be getting search results on LinkedIn. If you're getting over 100, you're searching for it wrong. And as I tell everybody, don't leave your search on Trinidad and Tobago. At least do Latin America because you'll get a lot of remote opportunities popping up. Because a lot of, and Colombia and Mexico do a lot of hiring remotely. So just keep that aspect in mind. And here's a little tip, because you might not see it here. Actually, I see it here. Hold on. Right. It tells you sometimes your job match is low. This is if you have premium, and it will give you guidance and helping you update the profile and the skills so you're matching it better with what it is that they're looking for. But again, for most of these companies, like you notice, Karen, watch it. No degree listed. Just Trinidad with this nonsense. Skills are listed, degrees, not that much. So just letting everybody know. But that's just some of the things. So what other questions we have?
I would like to ask another question. Just like Maria, I do multiple jobs, right? Just to list a few. I am a hairstylist. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
I am also the owner of Antipat's Flavor, where we do juices as well as sauces.
Mm-hmm.
And of lately, I have been getting a lot of quote unquote high profile clients where I will clean their apartments and stuff for them because they are very big when it comes to privacy as well as, finding someone that they can trust and things like that. Right?
Right.
I am more leaning towards the housekeeping. One of my clients told me that I need to, use ChatGPT as well to get a different name, to be able to brand myself differently when it comes to the housekeeping and stuff. Um, housekeeping has made me the most money above all of my other all of my other things that I'm doing right now,
So
right?
you could post that on LinkedIn.
Correct. Okay, so I'll do that.
So
Because
you
I'm
could post all
definitely
three. You
tempted
could literally
because
say, so just now, so lead with the cleaning because the cleaning is the largest revenue earner, then the hairdressing, then the juices. And it started that way, right? And then what you could do now is that I would literally do a post that's always fun saying, and it will be me, but I make sure I can't show the background because they don't want to show the client's place and just saying, just finish a client's home. This is another high-end client, and you just say the general area. I would describe the place, and you could talk about the most favorite thing that you actually clean inside the entire house without giving the description. So, like, it will sound like, just finished cleaning this home, 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, a library area, 2 separate kitchens, an outdoor area, all clean in under 8 hours. And my favorite space was the outdoor space because it leads you to an amazing view that you see for the entire west of Trinidad. And like that's what
wow,
I'll literally write as a post. And then they put
wow,
at the end, who am I? I am the cleaners. And I help high-end individuals. They describe specifically who you're looking for because not to sound bad, they don't want the wrong clients who want privacy when it is that they're actually doing their cleaning. So if it is that that's the type of service that you're looking for, something discreet, I'm here to serve you. And
Wow,
that's what you
Jarrod,
write
you're
every single time.
really good.
I know,
Way.
right?
Wow.
That's my
I
that's my
Wow.
skill
almost,
set.
I
I
almost
could take
hired
this.
you.
Yes,
That's my skill
I was
set. I could do
literally
that for
I was
everybody.
literally ready to hire him.
Yeah,
No, but it's
and
easy.
why? And I really enjoy doing the housekeeping. I'm not going to lie because it's very private and there's no one. So it's more, I wouldn't call it nomad, but at the same time, I am there by myself. I can do I know what I have to do. I just go and I get it done. Sometimes within 3 hours, I'm finished with the apartment. Some of them pay $500 just for those couple hours,
Right.
and it's I'm really leaning in towards that more than anything else that I'm doing right now.
Okay, so hold on. I just want to sidetrack just so we make sure we cover everybody. So keep creating that type of content, right? But here's the thing, Sadiq, I only registered my business, I can't remember if it was last year, this year. That doesn't matter to company source unless even when you have to pre-register as a vendor. The only thing I'll tell you is that it may matter to government for OPR, but other than that, no. I would just tell you create the content and put more of that out. That's it. But yes, but this is what you need to start. But oh, so let me show you all where it is. As we kind of wrap up because we're showing the time, right? Here's the 2 things that I help people with in terms of what you'll need here. I help with my team. I have a resume team. We do your resumes for you. That's 600 TT. And then I do your LinkedIn profiles for you. That's 750 TT. So that's a combined package, 1,350. We do everything for you. You just need to make sure, make yourself available so that you can answer our questions because my resume person moves incredibly quick. And once I have all the information on your LinkedIn profile, I could turn that over for you the same day. So like Joshua's profile was literally done same day, as in under 2 hours. So
Please put
that's
your
what,
information in the chat, thanks.
yes, let me put it in. Where's the chat? Chat, chat, chat. Actually, no, hold on. Where is this? You actually no. You would go to my LinkedIn profile and you would see it here in my featured section where I have these services listed, but I'm also dropping it here. So I'll put it here, LinkedIn optimization, which is 750, and then ATS resume, which is 600. Boom. That's the service here.
Can you put your
Right?
LinkedIn link? Can you put your LinkedIn link? Because I will have to search. I'm not even sure what is
Look
your.
at right here in the top. But I'm putting it in here as well. Best way to reach me is LinkedIn. I live on this platform. The only time where I'm not answering messages on this platform is where it might be when I'm sleeping. I spend most of my time on this platform. I TikTok, Instagram and stuff, not as much as what I spend here. I probably spend minimum probably 5 hours a day total. Because it's what it's what generates my business. So yeah. One last one, Keron. Last one. Last
Good.
question, and I
Jarrod, I had asked you to check
Oh,
my LinkedIn profile earlier
what
in the
name?
chat. Natalie Rojas.
Natalie.
I know it needs work.
Right. This one here? Digital writer?
Yeah,
All right.
something new I'm starting up.
Okay. Profile pictures, cool. You need a banner.
Yeah,
You could add your link here. I would say refine this a bit better.
okay.
And then if you notice, use the format. You have to use the capital
The
letter at the start of
slashes.
each of the keywords and the formatting.
Okay.
Those things play a difference. The message just needs to be a bit more concise. I'll even tell you, like, partially probably describe the companies. The about section needs to be a bit more beefed up. And again, expand more on the, so everybody remember this. What is the outcome you could create? That's what you should be writing about in the about section. What is the outcome you create? That's all people care about. I'll care who Natalie is when I understand the outcome she could create for me as a company or entrepreneur. Right? And then yes, so on your content, this will sound crazy because you see I'm doing it here. Give away what you know. Because everybody's lazy and they'll pay you to do it for them. That's why I could clean my house. Do I want to clean my house? I don't. I will pay you to clean my house because you are A plus at cleaning homes. I would understand what you're doing, but execution-wise, I'll probably get a C grade. I'll pay you because I want an A plus result. That's the mindset of why I have to give away the information.
Right.
So yeah. And if you can as well, folks, especially for ones who are doing services here, always get video testimonials, please. Pictures no longer paint 1,000 words, video does. You need video testimonials of people saying, hey, I use your service, you're excellent. Or, hey, Natalie used to be an employee of mine, she's excellent, you should hire her. Like, get video testimonials. So I'm glad L. Alexander, like, Trinidad people in the Caribbean sleeping on LinkedIn, sleeping. If you all understand how much power is involved on this platform, like, no disrespect, like, other platforms is just real crap. Like, if it is based on what we're talking about here tonight, no other platform will serve you better than LinkedIn. None. Not a single platform. LinkedIn is number one. Just say it. It's the greatest.
And with that, I just want to jump
Great.
in and
Thank you.
I just want to jump in and I want to thank Jarrod for his time today. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard two people tell you that LinkedIn is where we get our money. 99% of every penny I've earned over the last 9 years has come from LinkedIn. Why? Because that's where all the decision makers are. Rather than trying to build through popularity on the other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I have been creating content for the last how many years, and I've ensured that I've connected with the right decision makers so that they see the content, right? A lot of the things I put out there are to poke them, right? And they get poked because I would then get a call or a message from them, the CEOs themselves, or their subordinates saying, hey, can we have a conversation about something? And then there's business there's business that ensues, right? So LinkedIn
I do no
is the
prospecting,
platform.
folks.
Yeah,
None. I just
correct.
create content.
That's
I
it.
walk in rooms and CEOs know who I am because they don't engage with the content to know. They see it. Like, that's all I need to do. Like, every time I walk in a room, the CEO tells me, yeah, look at your content. Like I think I told you this one, Keron. I went into a meeting and the staff didn't realize the CEO knew who I was. This is just the discovery meeting. And he came in and he just literally was like, I just want to see what yellow you have on today. I'm like, right, my job is done. Like,
and
you're not getting that on other platforms. Sorry, LinkedIn is big.
to Jared's point, right? And that further just backs up what I just finished saying. LinkedIn is the only platform where you can get in front of the decision makers. All that matters, and the recruiters, right? All that matters is getting your stuff in front of the right eyeballs. So now we don't have to build through popularity. The rest, listen, the entire organization doesn't need to know who Jarrod is or who I am. But if the CEO or the decision makers know who we are and the instructive comes from the top down, it usually sounds like, hey, I like Jarrod Best Mitchell. We're bringing him in. End of story. Make it happen. Right? Versus you trying to build through popularity and hoping that your name gets kicked up the rankings. And chances are usually somebody along the line is jealous and will block that opportunity. But when it comes from the top down, everything always goes through. Jarrod, I want to thank you for taking the time. As always, you have a world of knowledge to share, and I wanted to bring you in to close the loop. So we've learned how or what jobs we need to be getting into, but to match that, you also need to learn how to get jobs. You need to learn what jobs to get and what to be investing your time and your money in, but then you need to learn how to get jobs. And you need to follow Jarrod because Jarrod is focused on showing you how to get jobs, but then also assisting you in preparing you to land opportunities, not just locally, but from abroad. Jarrod, how far, like what is the furthest destination you've helped somebody get a job in?
Qatar. And so I have a client, the same client who works in the oil sector, they work in Doha in Qatar right now.
There we go. There we go. Jarrod, as we wrap up, thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for joining us. You shared a lot of nuggets. And I think everybody let us know in the chat, how was Jarrod today? Did you learn something from Jarrod today? And you see, this is what we talk about. Somebody mentioned earlier that this workshop, we didn't go through no slides. Me and Jarrod didn't touch a slide. We didn't touch a slide.
Live.
Everything we did was live. Everything we did was real world. This is the skill sets we're talking about. You did not come here to read a slide. Otherwise, you would have just read the blog. Right? You came here for hands-on. So again, this is great. Yellow is the code. I shouldn't say that. But yellow is the code.
No.
Listen,
No.
I know
We're not
Jarrod cried.
political here.
I know Jarrod cried.
I've like yellow since 5 years old. Though I don't want to be politically affiliated with anything right now.
No.
I'm affiliated with money. Please understand that. I'm affiliated with money to buy yellow sneakers. Not come on.
Jarrod, Jarrod, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the conclusion of today's workshop. Again, everything was hands-on. Take the time. You didn't have to complete everything, but I wanted to show you the steps. Everything is at the website. So I'm going to drop the link. The video, the replay is going to be reposted here. You know what? I might even within the next 2 hours, I might have it loaded up and embedded. So again, if you're a late night person, you want to do this tonight, within the next 2 hours, I'll have this up, right? Everything is recorded and be posted. So if you want to reach out to Jarrod told you how to contact him. Contact him through LinkedIn or go to his website and reach out to him. Get your LinkedIn services optimized. Follow him to learn how to get the jobs. Do this entire exercise. You need to start planning now. Do not wait until the disruption happens because then it'll be too late. And right now, the early adopters who are learning new skill sets are the ones that are going to be jumping on the global opportunities. Stop thinking about opportunities limited within Trinidad and Tobago because guess what, folks? All of these skill sets that we're learning now, chances are local companies are going to take 10 years to adapt, right? But that doesn't mean you have to wait 10 years to start earning money. No, you have opportunities now. Learn the new skills. Work with Jarrod, start to get the international jobs. Again, you don't have to be like me. You don't have to move across the entire world. You can get jobs working for companies right there in Trinidad and Tobago, but now you need to learn how to do that. So that brings us to today's end of today's workshop. I've been seeing
one quick question, Kara.
Come in, yeah, Maria.
One quick question.
Yeah.
Somebody asked a relevant question. ChatGPT had reached its word limit. What do we do there in order to finish the exercise?
Yeah, so two things you
can. Gemini.
Yeah, so I'd recommend two things. Either jump into DeepSeek because DeepSeek is 100% free and it could do this exact same thing as ChatGPT, or just wait for I forget what the time limit is for GPT to refresh to give you more inputs. So you could come back to it later on and then redo it when ChatGPT refreshes itself to give you more inputs, or switch to DeepSeek and everything on DeepSeek is 100% free.
Yeah, I'm a deep seeker,
Deep sea.
100%.
There we go. Chanel says 5 hours. So there we go. Come back in 5 hours to complete the entire exercise in ChatGPT or switch to DeepSeek. All right. Okay, lovely. So I hope this workshop brought you some value and I hope it gave you some guidance moving forward. That is it for us today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, get some sleep. And for those that want to stay up and start to do the work, I will get this thing posted as we come off of this and it does what it has to do. All right. Jarrod, thanks again, everybody. Thank you
Thanks,
for coming
guys.
in. Thank you, Maria.
My
Take
pleasure.
care,
Thank
everybody.
you.